time to have a look at the French newspapers here on France 24. Clément Bonner is with us today. Clément, I'm quite amazed at this, actually. It's 3 months today since Emmanuel Macron was elected president here in France. Recent polls, though, really showing that his popularity is suffering a big dip, isn't it?
That's right. Emmanuel Macron has slipped 7 points, with just 36% of respondents saying they have a positive view of the president. Liberal daily L'Opinion says this is in part because the French president has announced budget cuts as well as divisive labour and military reforms. But they say the reason why Macron is struggling is also because of the lack of experience of his MPs. Many come from the private sector and have somewhat shied away from the spotlight. You can read L'Opinion's headline, Macron et les apprentis, Macron and his apprentices. In other words, these first 3 months have been more of a trial run for Emmanuel Macron's party. L'Opinion writes that this could be a serious problem for the president, of course, who needs a strong and vocal majority in Parliament to implement his reform proposals.
Yeah, meanwhile, Macron's ministers say they're exhausted. They've all been looking forward to the summer break. A lot of them have gone off on it already, haven't they?
That's right. Conservative daily Le Figaro reports that Macron has been very tough on his ministers, calling them at any time of the day or the night and keeping a close eye on their schedules. Ministers, however, will soon have an opportunity to catch their breath. They're set to meet for their last cabinet meeting of the year this Wednesday. It should be noted that unlike his predecessor François Hollande, Emmanuel Macron has allowed his ministers to go anywhere they like, but warned they should remain alert and ready in the event of an emergency.
And MPs are off on their holidays too, as well.
That's right. MPs are also very tired as they near the end of an extraordinary parliamentary session of Parliament, which was imposed by Emmanuel Macron and his ministers in order to kickstart reforms. Le Parisien reports, though, that many MPs have already left the French capital, and this could be bad news for the government, which is trying to push through a bill to clean up French politics. The bill needs an absolute majority to pass, but the vote might now have to be pushed back until September or October.
Now, meanwhile, something a little bit different. A petition. This is against the French First Lady. It's gaining momentum, isn't it? What's this about?
Well, the Huffington Post reports that 150,000 people have signed a petition to protest against Emmanuel Macron's plans to give his wife a formal position. Now, although Brigitte Macron is referred to as the First Lady, France actually has no official title of First Lady or Première Dame, as we say here. Macron says he wants to clarify his wife's role and break with what he calls a French hypocrisy. But critics say that all politicians should be banned from employing spouses or family members. And I've got this cartoon here for you, which I found in left-wing daily Libération. It's a tongue-in-cheek reference to the Penelope Gate scandal that engulfed former presidential candidate François Fillon. You see here Fillon reading the papers with the headline, Brigitte paid to read letters, and he reacts with anger. Well, this was Penelope's job.
I love the fumes of smoke coming out of his ears. Nice stuff. Something completely different for you now. Le Parisien, they're reporting today that Airbnb has paid less than €100,000 in taxes here in France.
That's right. And Le Parisien says this is ridiculously low. The paper reminds us that France is Airbnb's second largest market after the US, while Paris has more listings than any other city in the world. So how did Airbnb do it? Le Parisien says that the company has its European headquarters in Ireland, where corporate tax is only 12.5%. This is yet another proof, writes Le Parisien, that urgent action is needed at a European level to harmonise fiscal policies and bring an end to what the paper calls the destructive economic competition in Europe.
Last but not least, from Clément, we've got efforts which are ongoing, really, to clean up Paris's Seine River. Now, this is, of course, ahead of what we expect to be, anyway, the 2024 Olympics.
That's right. And the key question that's been on everyone's lips, of course, is how is Paris going to do it? Le Parisien writes that several measures are yet to be taken. The city needs to build several water treatment plants along the river and also upgrade parts of its sewage system. Le Parisien writes it will take at least 5 years years now. I don't know about you, but I don't think I'd ever want to swim in the Seine.
I'm not sure.
I was offered €1 million
I
to do
walk quite a lot past the canal, which leads into the Seine, where people are for the first time swimming this year, in fact. But I don't fancy it myself, I have to say.
Murky waters.
Looks a little bit brown to me. But anyway, I'm sure it's lovely. I'm sure it's very nice. Clément, thank you very much. Clément with the papers on France 24. Very